Hey, welcome back to my videos slash channel. I wouldn't call it a channel. I don't have a lot of followers and a lot of videos yet, but as you guys saw, this is a video about my name change. And for those of you who don't know what an Ewok is, that's what it looks like. And I may not look like one as much now, but I used to. So this is a little short clip, or maybe long, who knows, about how that came to happen. So hope you enjoy. Well, I'm in Ontario. I am here for the night. I will be heading back to Utah in the morning, around 2 in the morning, and picked up a trailer. So I have a trailer on top of my trailer. I'll post a picture. And so here we are, resting up, and it's time I talk about my little story to my name change. So as some of you know, I used to be in a motorcycle club called St. George Street Bikes. How that came to be was on a Sunday. I was on my way to ward prayer. I was riding through town on my way to the person's house for the meeting, and I was just cruising, turning left, right, whatever I needed to turn, and I noticed there was a bike following me. Didn't think much of it till I got to that place, and this guy pulled up next to me on a Ninja 300, which is what I had. His was white, mine was black. And he's like, hey, we're going to go for a ride next week, and if you'd like to join us, I'm with St. George Street Bikes, if you've heard of us, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I haven't heard, so I got a card from him. That was Taylor Forbes. And so that next Friday, I hit him up. I said, hey, so I'll come with you guys for that ride tomorrow. And so that next Saturday, we met up, and then we went up to Springdale. And then on the way back down, Cash, Levi, and another gentleman decided that they wanted to go up to Brian Head, so I tagged along with them. On the way up there, that guy whose name I don't remember, he crashed. And so I thought that, maybe I wouldn't go back, but I, thought about it. I was like, hey, accidents happen. We weren't being reckless or anything. It just happened to crash and whatnot. They weren't being reckless because they had me with them, and I was a beginner at the time being. So they were taking it easy. But yeah, you'd think after seeing a crash, it happened right in front of me, you think after seeing that I would have, booked it and said, nope, not interested. But I actually stuck around. The years went by, met many people, have made many great friends. One of them being Levi, who's basically my brother. A lot of great friends whom have helped me grow up and have taught me a lot of things. Ronnie, Cash Benson, Tyler, I can keep going, Mark Mandel, Jordan Newson, David, I could keep going. So many great people that I met. For sure want to mention Dave. He's been very, very good person. Very helpful with my car needs over at Stephen Wade. Always knows how to hook it up. And I don't know, I could name lots of names, but we will stop there. Anyway, so one day we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were just sitting around talking, and at the time being, Cash Benson, the president at the time being, he looked over at me, and he's like, hey, I've come up with your nickname, and that worried me because some of you guys know our nicknames, some of you don't, so I'll mention a few without going into detail who's what and why. But we had Tinkerbell, we had Pee-wee, we had Tweedledee, Tweedledum, we had Half Sack, we had Fack. Shit, I could probably keep going. There's a few more, but so as you can tell, there was some weird nicknames, and so he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna call you Ewok," and I was like, "What the hell is an Ewok?" So somebody in the group showed me a picture, and I was like, "Oh, well, it's a short little fluffy character, furry, brown." I was like, "Yeah, that does look kind of like me. And so I owned up to it. And as time progressed, everybody started calling me that. My work knew me as Ewok. Friends, everybody started knowing me as Ewok. Uh, Given my culture, I am Hispanic. Obviously, the family and Hispanic friends did not adapt to the name very well because it's not something in their culture, or I mean, the word alone is hard for them to pronounce. So that they didn't catch on, but everybody else did, and it just became who I was. And when it came to get my citizenship, for some of you who don't know, I became a citizen in 2018. So at that time, they gave me the option to change my name. It was an option. They didn't say you have to change your name. They said you can change your name if you like, and I was like, wow, this is an opportunity to do something crazy, but something cool. At least I think it's cool. Some of you probably just laughing at me right now. But I was like, yeah, I'd like to change my name, and so I asked them, is there like any rules to it or whatnot? They're like, hey, it's your name, you choose. Just you know, be wise about it. They said, the guy said, and so obviously I wasn't too wise about it, right? Um, Anyways, so that is the first name, Ewok, and how that came to be. Now on to the second name, middle name. It is Xavier, Xavier, and not a lot of people, as a matter of fact, I don't think anybody knows why I went with Xavier. So here it is for the whole world to know. When we were younger, when I say we, I mean all of us, because we were all younger at one point, right? We watched a show probably called Pimp My Ride. I don't know if that rings any bells to anybody. And there was a host named Exhibit, or as he'd like to say, X to the Z Exhibit. Well, being young and dumb, I always thought that was cool, and I was like, that'd be, it would be cool to have a name like unique like that. And so as I was getting older, I went to Buckle one time. Shockingly, a fluffy guy like me tried to get a job at Buckle. Ha, that was a joke, I bet. Anyways, yeah, they don't hire fat people there. Anyways, I applied there, and while I was walking around the store, I was looking at the shirts, and I noticed that they had, at the time, and I don't know about it anymore, but at the time they had a shirt with the brand name Xavier, spelled like my name is now. And so after being told that they weren't hiring, I went home and Googled that name and concluded that it was my name in English modernized, because my name in English is just with an X instead of a J. And then they added the Z just to make it more modern, I guess. So it's not a different language or anything, it's just English, modern English. And so I thought, holy crap. I thought about X to the Z Exhibit, and I was like, hell yeah, that would be so cool if I did that. It would be X to the Z Xavier. And so I did it. I put it down on paper, and the guy looked over it and said, okay, that's what you want. That's what you get, right? And so, and then last but not least, my last name, right? Sorry, I have a bug that keeps flying around me, and it's just driving me nuts. Anyways, so my last name is Gonzalez. Gonzalez. Simple. I got it because of my stepdad. For one, he wasn't able to adopt me growing up, and so I never got to take up his last name. Secondly, it was just a form of saying thank you, for helping my mother raise me. Obviously, it wasn't the smoothest road. It was a bumpy road and whatnot, but I am who I am today, and partially it's because of him, So So as a thank you, I did take up his last name. And the following thing is something my mom did not approve of. And she and I had a conversation about it. To this day, she keeps bringing it up. But I got rid of two last names, which was Valencia Marquez. So some of you know, when you go to fill out paperwork anywhere, especially legal paperwork like your driver's license, uh, they ask for one last name. Anywhere you go, they ask for one last name. So as a person who fills out a lot of paperwork, I got tired of having to hyphenate my name, having to put it all as one big thing. And I would go by Marquez. And sometimes places I would go to, they'd use, say, Valencia, Mr. Valencia. And then I'd be like, I wouldn't think about it because it was not a last name that I went by. And so sometimes I'd sit there and ignore people because they would calling a different last name, or they would just not know how to pronounce my name at all. And so, not that that's any better now, if people have a hard time with Ewok. So I went ahead and got rid of the two last names, but my mom wanted me to keep Valencia because that's her last name. In Spanish culture, you have the mother's last name and the father's last name. So I went ahead and just did my stepfather's last name, and so my mom didn't fully approve of that, but you know, there's this thing about my mother that I love is that she may not agree with everything I do, but she supports me. She's got my back. Huge shout out to her for that. She has gotten me this far in life, and I wouldn't be here without her help. So thank you very much, Mother, for everything that you've done for me, even putting up with my name change. Yeah, she wasn't fully on board with the whole thing, but she said, hey, you do you. Even though deep down inside I know she didn't mean that. I think anytime a woman says you do whatever you want to do, they don't really mean it, but I figured I'd pay the consequences later, right? Either way, I love my name, my whole thing. It's Ewok Xavier Gonzalez. For those of you who do not know what my previous name, it was Francisco Javier Marquez Valencia. That was my previous name. And some of you might say, well, that's a nice name to say, pronounce, whatever. Some of you who might not be able to understand this because you guys are only Spanish speakers, I'm not going to say it in Spanish for you. Sorry. But I hate being called Panchito. I hate being called Pancho. I hate all those nicknames that come with the name Francisco. I hate it. It drives me nuts when people call me those nicknames, or when they make a song about it, or when they, I don't know, I just don't like it. My middle name, Javier, didn't have the worst of, people would call me Javi, which is fine. If some of you still call me that, that's cool. I don't mind you calling me that. For some reason, I just hated the nicknames associated with Francisco. As a matter of fact, I actually know a lot of donkeys with that are called Pancho or Paco. I think that's another nickname for it. People would sometimes call me that, so I don't know if that was one of the nicknames or not. But we actually had I think when I was a kid, we had a donkey named Paco. I did not like a name like that, you're like Ewok. Well, dogs are called Ewok. Some dogs are called Chewie. Some dogs are Chewbacca. That's fine. I don't care. Anyways, I'm making this video longer than it should be. Thank you to everybody who watches this nonsense of me talking blah 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 all the time. This is actually take like 600. I've made this video so many times. I'm not gonna cut it anymore. I'm gonna insert some pictures so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about, and so I'll post little pictures of Ewok and Ewoks, because there's multiple ones of them, and I'll put some pictures of Exhibit and whatnot. but I won't edit much more. You are getting the raw crap here because I've done this video multiple times. The first time I thought it was flawless. The first time I uh, I did a great video. This was actually a week ago, and then I went to go and try and upload it, and I had made 3 clips. 2 of them were missing. Sorry, my nails are really dirty, but that's what happens when you do what I do, right? So the two clips were gone, and on the third clip, it was cut in half. And they had previously been there. I had after I had made them. I had gone into it, came back out, was watching the videos, and I was like, I'll edit them and upload them tomorrow, which was Friday. When I got home, I was going to do that. And I went to look at them, and they were gone. So I didn't get to do that. Then I redid them, and I liked my first finished product, and then afterwards, it just wasn't becoming natural. Like, wasn't coming natural out of me, even though I know my story and why I did what I did, and it just did not feel like natural. It was like scripted, and I didn't want that. So whatever comes out right now, it's what I'm going to post. While I was talking too, I remembered another funny thing that I remembered while I was changing my name. Some of you, probably all of you, probably think it's dumb what I did. But XZABIER is my middle name, right? And GONZALEZ is my last name. That's 3 Z's. So, as a running joke, as I was writing my name down in front of the official, I even blurted it out loud, and he kind of giggled. I was like, Ewok Xavier Gonzalez. I was like, it's not triple X, it's triple Z. But yeah, so I thought that was funny. I have 3 Z's in my name, and 3 X's, 3 Z's. I know it's dumb, but I thought that was funny. Made me giggle. He looked at me like, you're really stupid. But yeah, thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope you guys have a great day.